So the pasuk says, "V'yasa Moshe es b'nei Yisrael miyamsu v'yetzu al midbar Shur v'yerchu shloshes yomim b'midbar v'lo yimatzu mayim." And Chazal say 3 days without Torah, and they were falling apart. This is a generation that saw a revelation greater than all the Nevi'im. Rasu shivchu alayam, masha le'ro Yecheskel v'kol ha-Nevi'im. And Chazal say, hoyu marin be'etzba. They pointed a finger and they said, Ze keli v'anveyu. They were at such an unbelievably high madrega. Va'af al pi ken, 3 days without Torah, v'nil'u. We would expect, they were like the Nevi'im. They were greater than the Nevi'im. They just experienced a revelation, Shaloi hoyo kemoisoi. Va'af al pi ken, 3 days without Torah, and everything was falling apart, which shows the importance of Talmud Torah. You could be zeicher to the greatest madregas, but without Talmud Torah, nothing is guaranteed, and it is impossible. There'll be 3 days without Talmud Torah, which proves the importance and the significance of Talmud Torah, not only in the lives of individuals, but in the life of Klal Yisrael. So the Prima Godem asks a question in the beginning of Siman Kuf Lamed Hey. Did they go 3 days without Torah? Kriya Shema Shachas V'Avis. And the Gemara says, Ye yoitze v'ogisa v'yoyme v'aladu with Kriya Shema. Who remembers where that Gemara is? Afir lo korei la Kriya Shema Shachas V'Avis yotzi yedei choyves lo yom sefer ha-Torah zeh mepichu. Where's that Gemara? Yitzchak, you know. How many times in Shas? Huh? Menachas Tzadik, there's a hand. Medoram Dav Chesed Medalef. So Prima Godem asks, they weren't 2 to 3 days without Torah. I think the answer is a simple one. Let's have a look at the Rambam again. Moshe Rabbeinu tikelem liyesod sheyeh koydem b'Torah berabim b'Shabbos sheni v'chemishi. Talmud Torah berabim. Kriya Shema, everybody said on his own. And you have a lot of time for Kriya Shema. Mishiyakir ad sof gimel shois. Meplaga mincha ad alois hashachar. The takana was sheyeh oiskim b'Torah together. Sheyeh oiskim b'Torah berabim. Talmud Torah berabim. That's what keeps us going. So despite the fact there was zeicher to a gil which was greater than Yecheskel v'kol ha-Nevi'im, that is not enough. Without Talmud Torah, we lose everything. And then they finally found water, but they couldn't drink because the water was bitter. V'yoreu Hashem eitz, v'yashlech b'toich hamayim, v'yimteku hamayim. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows Moshe Rabbeinu wood. Moshe throws the wood into the water, and the water becomes sweet. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't tell Moshe what to do with that wood. V'yoreu Hashem eitz. So why and did Moshe understand he needs to put the eitz into the water? The Chasam Sofer explains what was the story about. The water was bitter, and the eitz made it sweet. The Chasam Sofer says water is Torah. Ein mayim ela Torah. So the water is symbolic of Lomdei Torah. Eitz is symbolic of Machzikei Torah. Eitz chayim hu lemachazikim ba. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show Moshe that there will come a time in which there will be many Lomdei Torah. But if there will be a lack of Machzikei Torah, support for Torah, it'll be bitter. And that is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows Moshe eitz, to show that if we have Lomdei Torah, we need Machzikei Torah. But the Chasam Sofer doesn't say, so why did he throw the eights into the water. So recently, I spoke to a big group of Choshav Balabatim in America that came together in Eretz Yisrael for Chizuk, and people that are maybe the greatest Mechzikei Torah of our generation, people that give millions upon millions just to keep the Torah world going. And I gave them Chizuk. And I said, to support Torah, you need to appreciate Torah. To appreciate Torah, you need to love Torah. To love Torah, you need to learn Torah. So the real Zvulans are the ones that are also, to a certain degree, Yisachars. So Moshe understands, okay, having water here and eights there is not enough. The eights needs to be in the water. Machzikei Torah are those people that themselves learn Torah and love Torah, and they could understand and appreciate how important Torah is in our lives as individuals, as kehilas, as communities, and as a people. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows Moshe the eights, Moshe understands, V'yashlich el torch hamayim and v'yimteku hamayim. So Baruch Hashem, how important Talmud Torah the Rabbim is. This is a generation that had the most amazing revelation of all, but without Torah, they could not survive. And the Rambam says, what was the Tekona? She'iyah koyrem b'Torah b'Rabbim. And that is what yeshivas are all about. Everybody can learn at home, but the real Torah is Torah Derabim, and that is Talmud Torah b'Yeshiva. And that is why Chazal teach us in Yom Edav Chav Ches. Avraham zokan v'Yoshe b'Yeshiva, Yitzchak zokan v'Yoshe b'Yeshiva, Yaakov zokan v'Yoshe b'Yeshiva. U'meyameyam shel avoseinu lo ypaska Yeshiva mehem. Yeshivas is what keeps us alive. So Baruch Hashem, thank you, Kodesh Baruch Hu, they have the privilege to learning in a great yeshiva, in Yeshivas Torah's Chaim. Ki heim chayenu, v'oirech yomeinu, u'behem nega yoyim v'laylo.